let's get real about wholesale real estate. Is this still viable in 2024, 2025, and years to come? Are all wholesalers going to soon be required to hold a license in order to wholesale real estate? Can you actually make money? Is it actually something that a beginner should start off with in order to start off in real estate investing? I will be discussing that all today in today's video. So make sure you all comment down below your thoughts and be real with me. How has your experience with wholesale real estate been? Has it been pretty bad? Honestly, has it taken you a year to get your first deal, or have you been trying for a year and still don't have a deal? Are you scared about the soon changes to happen in this industry with licensing and different laws and even possibly making it illegal in certain cities? How are you navigating actually investing in this business while you're working full time, or while you have other bills to pay, or while you need to do something else? Or are you guys dealing with just the rejections from sellers, whether it's through cold calling or through mailers or through texting? Let me know down below. Give me your real honest review of wholesaling real estate right now down below. So wholesale real estate, the first thing is it still viable? Is it still a good thing to do in the years to come? Like, will you actually make money, right? Essentially. And I do think it's still a good business to start off with, especially for beginners, because of the low upfront costs. Still requires some money, right? Like, let's be real about that. Wholesaling real estate is not completely free. There are less expensive ways to get started in wholesale real estate, right? You can go through the MLS, like looking on Zillow for sell by owner or realtor or Redfin, and go that route that a lot of wholesalers start off with. And you can essentially get your first deal that way and maybe just pay for a few things, maybe a subscription or something else. But for the most part, most people are pulling a list from a company that they're paying a subscription for. They're paying money for phone numbers. They're paying money for all these other things. But still, even then, the cost compared to starting other businesses, especially in real estate, is pretty low. And so, yes, it does cost money, but the upfront cost is pretty low. And I do think, even though there's more competition and there's just different things that's going to happen in this industry, I still think this is something that a lot of people can start. I do think it's more difficult than it was back then, because I think more and more sellers are now just used to getting these mailers, getting these phone calls. I think it was still kind of fresh a couple years ago. Even when I started like in 2019, I've noticed that people are now more aware of wholesalers. There's more articles about it. And so I think there's difficulty in that. But I still do think that if you have the right systems in place, if you are learning, or if you're watching some of my videos on how to market, how to talk properly to a seller and just be honest with them, you don't try to take advantage of people, and you actually do try to make a successful business, I think it can work out. Yeah, it just takes a lot of consistency. It takes a lot of rejections. It takes a lot of no's. But yes, I still do think with everything happening in this world, even the political climate, people are still going to look for wholesale properties. Cash buyers are still looking for properties that they can flip or hold as a rental, and that's where you come in. And a lot of these people still want to use somebody else to do that. They don't want to put their mind and focus on that, because their mind and focus can be on other things. Now, about wholesale real estate and the recent changes in the laws and regulations and licensing and all that, what do I see happening, and what does that mean for you or as a beginner? Now, I do see more and more states adopting laws to require wholesalers to hold a license to wholesale real estate, just like realtors are required to hold a license. But flippers are not required, landlords are not required, but for some reason wholesalers are required. And I think it's because that wholesalers, they're very similar to agents, where they work in direct contact with the seller. A lot of times a landlord, they may buy a property off the MLS, or they may buy a property from a wholesaler. They don't really have that direct contact with the seller to make sure they disclose everything. And so I think wholesalers, they have a responsibility of disclosing a lot of things of what they're doing, and that, hey, we're buying this property as is, we have to spend a ton of money on it, and so this is the price we're offering you this property for. And so with all that, I do see more and more states requiring people to hold a license. Now, I don't think that's something that should stop people. I know there are some companies, they just hired a realtor to to stand by in their company, and that's their license for their LLC or something like that, or they themselves, they get their license, which is not a difficult thing. Yes, it takes time to, study somewhat and just take the test and do all that jazz, but I think over time it will be worth it. And so I think that shouldn't stop you if you're a beginner and you're thinking about wholesaling real estate and your city is thinking about implementing a law or a license requirement. Don't let that stop you. Like, still go ahead and do that. And so yes, more and more states are going to require it. I don't think it's going to be a ban. I don't think people are going to ban wholesaling altogether. Maybe a few cities may do it. I would be shocked if that happens. I don't know, shocked, but I'll be surprised if that happens. But yeah, and still to this day, most cities and most states do not require any license. And so out of the 50 states, maybe like 8 or 9 of them require something, and some of them just require a disclosure or something like that, not even a license. So that's something to consider in real estate wholesaling. Now, with wholesaling, let's be real about it. Like, are you going to make money? Is this actually going to work out for you? Now, I can share my story with you all, and hopefully that can help answer that question. For me, I wasn't focused in the beginning. I wasn't consistent. I didn't really stick my head to the ground and really concentrate on this business. And once I did that, that's when I started to see success. You have to be real with yourself. Do you have that time to do that? Do you have that mental fortitude to do that? And once I started to do that and be consistent with my marketing, whether it's phone calls, whether it's mailers, whether it's texting, and be consistent sending out marketing every single month, that's when you'll find true success in your business. Now, once you establish that, you have to be consistent with that marketing, and you have to look for your next deal before you even close your deal, because you want to start getting it consistently. And that's where I went wrong. Just to be honest, this is a real transparent video. I didn't start to implement systems in my business, right? I was doing everything myself. I was doing all the marketing, all the disposition, like finding cash buyers, working with the title company. And at one point I was getting deals consistently every single month. And they were like decent sized deals, right? Like getting these 5-figure checks. And after a while, I had a burnout and I started focusing more on my YouTube channel, talking about other topics. I started expanding in my wholesale real estate business. So I was still wholesaling, but doing it for different purposes. So I wholesaled a few deals. I'm starting to flip now. And so even though I don't exactly wholesale real estate, I use the practices in wholesale I'm doing. And so you see my channel, especially on my shorts section, flip that I'm working on currently, because I think if you truly want wholesaling, you have to just, do you want to be a big do wholesaling for a couple years, start with wholesaling and then or being a developer like that, establish that because to make it a business. And that's now, yeah, I hope this was informative for you. I think a lot of times with wholesale, and I make them too, it's all like, you can do that, but as transparent and real. And so I just wanted to make this video just to talk about that and share my own experience, and hopefully you all can relate to it. All right, make sure you all like this video. I would love to hear your comments down below, and I'll talk to you all later.